Hello. Hello, friends. My name is Rebecca. I eat books. This is Rebecca Eats Books, where we talk about depressing books. Just kidding, that's not the theme of this place, but it could be. It's time for the mid-year freakout tag. I've never done this before. Pretty excited. We're gonna talk about some books. We're gonna do a little thoughts about the year so far, but I'm also gonna do a separate video. We're gonna talk about some of my favorite books so far and look at some stats from Storygraph for the year. So stay tuned for that. But let's get into the tag. So the first question is best book of the year so far. I'm gonna leave you on the edge of your seats. I'm gonna do another video. And this question sucks. Best book of the year, who knows? I'm going to do a video where I do some categories. Best fiction, best memoir of the year, best, I don't know yet. Most likely to succeed, best smile, class clown of the year so far. So stay tuned. The next question is best sequel of the year. I didn't read a ton of sequels. I don't read a ton of series. I have been reading the Deborah Levy memoirs, and the second one, The Cost of Living, was phenomenal. So that's definitely the best sequel I read this year. I also read Spring by Ali Smith, which is the third in her seasonal quartets, and I love Ali Smith and I really enjoyed that. And those are literally the only books in series I think I read all year so far. But they were both great. New releases I'm looking forward to reading that I haven't picked up yet. So many releases that I'm excited to pick up. I'm gonna go get them. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get them and show them to you. Okay, 1 second. All right, I just scoured my TBR pile. 2 hardcover, beautiful brand new 2021 releases I can't wait to read. The Hard Crowd by Rachel Kushner, selection of essays, and Real Estate by Deborah Levy, the third in the Deborah Levy autobiography series that I just mentioned. Both brand new. I'm looking forward to reading these before the end of the year. Next question is most anticipated releases for the second half of the year. A lot. Some obvious ones are the new Sally Rooney. Everyone's talking about it. I know. Everyone's gonna read it. The first Sally Rooney, Conversations with Friends, I picked up having heard nothing about Sally Rooney. If you can believe there was a time when Sally Rooney was not so overexposed, or maybe I just wasn't paying attention. But I picked it up not knowing anything about it, not having heard anything, and I was like, whoa. Mind blown. Also, it's the first book I'd read where a character had endometriosis, and that made me feel very seen. And then I read Normal People and liked it. It wasn't as much of a banger for me, but I'm worried that this book is going to be so overhyped and overexposed that it's going to do something for me, and that happens. But probably not. Probably I just love it. We'll see. Other things I'm excited about for the second half of the year. September 7th, Maggie Nelson comes out with a new essay collection critical theory piece called On Freedom. Really psyched about that. Hoping to get an arc. Lauren Groff has a new book coming out called Matrix. Claire Vaye Watkins has a new book coming out. I love some Claire Vaye Watkins. Out October 5th by Riverhead, and it's called I Love You But I've Chosen Darkness. Doesn't actually sound like me, but I will definitely read it because it's Claire Vaye Watkins and I love her. Lily King has a new book coming out in November called 5 Tuesdays in Winter. Also doesn't really sound like me. Sounds a little fluffy, fluffy. But obviously I'll give it a try. Sarah Moss has a new book coming out in November called The Fell. So those are all new books coming out by authors that I know and love. People have been spending their quarantine getting shit done. Love to see it. Not me, but other people have. Biggest disappointment of the year. I have a few. Well, real life. People love it. People love it. People love it. A lot of people called it their favorite book of 2020. I didn't love it. I read it in a vlog. I'll put a picture of the vlog here. And I had thoughts, I had things to say about it. I remember feeling like it was a little too romancy. I remember thinking that I hated the dialogue, which is a big no-no for me. If the dialogue feels strained, we're done. It also was a lot of dialogue. I like a book that's mostly internal, and that's just too much relational and not enough personal for me. Also, the burning Didn't love this book. Again, super hyped. People loved it. Thought it was just all right. Breasts and Eggs by Meiko Kawakami. This was billed as a super feminist novel, and I didn't find it that way. I think part of my reading of it that I didn't consider going into it was the cultural lens and that I implicitly bring to the table, and how this is a Japanese book and what is culturally feminist in Eastern versus Western culture is going to be different. I also just thought it was too long. Needed an editor. Didn't blow my socks off. And then I've had 2 DNFs so far this year. Savage Tongues and Last Summer in the City. Biggest pleasant surprise of the year. I have a few. Mayor of Leipzig, which was this tiny little Rachel Kushner book, was sent to me by Karma. I'm probably gonna mention this book a bunch in this video. I love this book. Surprise. Hamnet, which is historical fiction, and I don't normally read historical fiction, and I loved it very much from the perspective of Shakespeare's wife, Agnes, and I loved that. Felt very much like it could be contemporary. And also Long Division by Kiecy Layman. This is like a freaky, weird little novel. It's a little science fiction-y. There is time travel. There is a talking cat. None of these things are things I usually get down with, but Kiecy's a master, and this book was great, and I'm so glad I read it and didn't let any of that keep me from the reading experience. Favorite new author, debut author, or new to you? I had never read Deborah Levy before this year, and now I've read 2 of the autobiographies and 1 fiction so far, and I'm gonna do a lot more. I'm on the Deborah Levy train now. I had never read any Sigrid Nunes before this year, and now I've read The Friend and What Are You Going Through, and enjoyed both of those. Lauren Euler's book was a debut, and really loved that. Fake Accounts. Everyone's talking about it, but loved that book very much. Hey buddy, is the mail here? Next question, newest fictional crush. Tony from Second Place. It's the main character's husband. He's a dream. He's everything you want and more. He lives in the country. He does things with his hands. He builds, he fixes, he makes. He's level-headed. He wears overalls in the images I picture of him. I love Tony. Call me. Tony, call me. Also, Cassandra from Cassandra the Wedding. She's trouble. Like in F, Marry, Kill, I want to marry Tony, but like I want to get to know Cassandra, if you know what I'm saying. She seems like a really good time. She gives off Marissa in the OC energy. Throwing that pool chair into the pool, she learned that from Cassandra. Cassandra's a hot mess, but I would like to drink whiskey with her, get a little messy, see where the night takes us, break some stuff. She seems like a good time. New favorite character. I love the main character from No One Is Talking About This by Patricia Lockwood. So funny. I would love to hang out with her and just have her make observational, funny, dry, sarcastic little tweets out loud about everything. I think that would be a good time. Oh, I really like Middle Sister, the main character from Milkman. Again, she's funny. She seems like she'd be a good time to go get a coffee or a pint with and be a little sarcastic little jerkwads in the corner together. Next question. Books that made you cry. Again, No One Is Talking About This. At the end, the second half of that book is a real tearjerker. I also read Blue Nights by Joan Didion. That one will get you in the feels for sure. The Friend by Sigrid Nunes. That one will get you. Those are both, well, really all 3 of those books are about grief. Book that made you happy. I don't really read books that make me happy. I mean, I am happy. I am happy when I read books that are dark and rude and sassy, but books that are happy. At the beginning of the year, before I started this channel, I read Lost in the City by Edward P. Jones, which is a collection of short stories that all take place in Washington, D.C., my hometown, my place of birth. Are you done, Hush Puppy? That made me happy. A lot of scratching, buddy. I really enjoyed reading about where I'm from, and the book is very geographically placed in context, so it tells you I was on the corner of P and 14th, and I know exactly where that is and what it looks like, so I really enjoyed Lost in the City. It's also a book whenever I meet anybody who's from DC, from DC, which is very rare. I always recommend that book because there's a special joy in the pride you feel for your city. No taxation without representation. DC. Most beautiful book. Is this like beautiful writing or like beautiful? I have to show you The Mayor of Leipzig because it's a beautiful book. Look at this beauty. She needs to be on display somewhere. Fabric. Look at that beautiful nothing. I love that. Beautiful fabric, Karma. We got the silver inlay, silver leaf, I don't know. She's a beauty. She's a beautiful book. We love her. Last question, I think. What I need to read before the end of the year. So I've already mentioned some releases that are coming out that I want to read. I've already mentioned some new releases that came out already that I want to read. So let's talk about some backlist I want to get to this year. I want to read some Iris Murdoch. I feel like she's another one of these godmothers of the thinky, depressed woman that I love in a book. So definitely want to get there, explore some of that. Gonna keep reading my backlist. Deborah Levy. Gotta get to Hot Milk. Come on. Also, Magda Szabo. I want to get to some backlists. Magda Szabo, I've heard it's dark. So those are my plans. Thanks for watching. Halfway through the year, can you believe it? I hope you all are having a beautiful summer. If you're out sleeping in a tent and you don't have service and you don't watch this until the fall, more power to you. Get out there. Bring a book with you. I'm coming in hot in the near future with favorite books of the year so far and a mid-year stats breakdown as soon as I get around to it. Thanks for watching. Love you, nerds.